Sneva with the lead well in hand, but remember, Sneva's finished second 3 times here.
Down the backstretch there toward turn 3. The turn that's most exposed, Jim. The wind blows across this turn. He's going into turn 3 there. I had a crash here once and hit the wall just about beyond there. Rutherford had a crash here in practice. Probably a gust of wind caught him. Here's what happened. He struggled to keep control, and he did manage to reduce the angle of incidence with which he hit the wall. This is where Gordon Smiley was killed last year, Jim. Johnny Rutherford survived this, but with brutal injuries to both his feet and ankles.
That's right. It put Johnny Rutherford out of the race, no question. Remember now, this is something that happened in practice. This is not in today's race. And Simon, as a matter of fact, with Johnny Rutherford. We're going to have a word from him now.
I'm with Johnny Rutherford and his wife Betty in one of the luxury suites where, for the first time since 1966, they will be on the outside looking in. And Johnny, you sustained an injury during a crash earlier this month, but now that you're out of it, how big of a disappointment is it for you anyway?
Oh, it's more than I can describe, I assure you, because I've been doing this for 20 years. And to not be over there, I think when it really hit me today was when I heard them announce drivers to your cars, and I wasn't scrambling toward my car to get everything ready to go, and it's a great disappointment, but I can't let it get me down, and it's one of those things that happen every now and then, and maybe there's a lesson in it, and I'll find out what that is, and we'll carry on.
Betty, I would have to assume that you're going through the same thing as he is. You've been in the pits for several years now, too. How does it feel to you?
Well, I thought I would be relieved to know that Johnny was not in the car, and I knew he was safe for the day, but I found that my stomach was hurting just as bad before the race as it does when he's running. So it's the whole race itself, and we know all the guys out there, and it's, you know, it's the same feeling.
When can we expect to see you back racing?
Well, I think probably in July. We have a race, the second 500-miler on the schedule at Michigan International Raceway, and I hope to be ready for that. All indications are from the doctor that shouldn't be any problem, so I'll be back at MIS.
Well, we'll look forward to it, and thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Very interesting that Johnny Rutherford was quite visibly moved by this thing, even though it took place a while ago. But this is race day. Now, Jeff Brabham second, Al Unser third, and Al trying to make a move on the young man from Australia.
This, of course, is what is known as slipstreaming. I mean, there's no question when you're that close behind another car going at these speeds that the air passing over your car is simply not clear air, and you have to deal with that. It hurts you in the turns, but then it helps you on the straightaway where you don't have to overcome. That's Roger Penske, of course, watching the action and timing the cars. You don't, yeah, there's the slipstream, and he pulls out.
And he's got him.
That's the textbook move by one of the great masters of oval racing, Al Unser.
Al Unser back in the second place behind Tom Sneva, the easy leader at the moment. Brabham, by the way, we said is young. He's not all that young. He's 31 years old. He is an experienced race driver. There's the leader, Tom Sneva, holding on to that lead very securely at Indianapolis. 140 laps of 200 gone by now on this 2.5-mile racetrack. Sneva, a veteran at this point, we said, started as a school teacher, but that's been a while ago. He's been a good long while. He's 34 years old, 3-time second here, as we mentioned before.
He is about to lap Gordon Johncock. Jim, Gordon Johncock on the left there, the man who won this race last year, who's had an absolutely miserable year this year.
Didn't perform well all the month of May here. Jim Lampley now is with Mario Andretti, the hard luck guy.
In as much detail as possible, can you describe what you saw happen with Parsons' car and what it caused you to have to do?
Well, it was very quick. He went by and went by quite clean. I let him go, and right in front of me, all of a sudden, he just twitched and started spinning. And I was too close to try to go underneath him, so I had to take my best shot up at the top, and he just pinched me, and I sailed right into the wall very hard.
Do disappointments like this get a little worse each year?
Well, a disappointment is a disappointment. Disappointment is always bad.
Tough luck, Mario.
Thank you.
Mario Andretti, who's had so much tough luck here, but always a sportsman, one of the best in the game. Tom Sneva, the leader, into the pits now. under the green. See those other cars moving past. Football field a second. You know what they're doing on the straightaway? More than twice the speed of Nolan Ryan.
Well, I never thought of that. There again, that sparkling acceleration out of the pits. Try to keep your eyes looking at the background all around you, not just at the car, and you start to get some feeling for the speed. The poles on the outside of the track, you see them whipping by, are 50 feet apart. That's another way to look at the speed.
And on the pit stop by Sneva, of course, Al Unser, car number 7, moves back into the lead again. Lead seesawing between Sneva, who used to drive for Roger Penske, and Al Unser, who does now. Something that can become quite important in this race is something called tire stagger. Chrissy Economaki.
Stagger is a term heard often along pit road at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it's not the way a crewman comes home on Saturday night. It's the difference in circumference between the rear tires on the car. Here I have 2 rear tires, made the same way on identical wheels and pumped up to pretty much the same pressure. The circumference of this one is not quite 7 feet, a little more than 1/4 of an inch short, and its opposite number over here is exactly 7 feet. And that 1/4 inch plus is the stagger. Now, the larger wheel is put on the right side of the car to help it get into the corners easier. And the stagger is adjusted by controlling the air pressure. The low is 20 pounds, the high about 26 pounds. 1 pound of air pressure can make 1/10 of an inch of stagger and throw 30 pounds of weight on the other side of the car. And when the stagger's right, the car really goes well. So, when a car makes a pit stop during the 500, you'll understand why the crew chief selects a tire from this pile rather than one from this pile, because of the stagger.
Okay, Chris, the subject of tire stagger. And now into the pits, here comes Al Unser. Al Unser, the current leader, coming into the pits, and that will cost him the lead again. Sneva should certainly go back into first place, but let's see how quick this pit stop can be. Again, operating under the green flag. Got to be as quick as you can. Low shot, interesting there.
That's a beautiful shot. You can see how dirty the front of the car is. Jim Rahal mentioned this, that the track was exceptionally dusty and grimy today, and you can see evidence of that on that formerly immaculate car.
Those jacks, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, are mounted inside the car and hydraulically pop out, push the car up in the air. I believe it was the Penske crew that brought that in as an innovation a few years ago here. Now everybody's got it, of course. And Al Unser goes out again.
Yeah, those air jacks were an incredible innovation when you think back to the days of dragging the jacks around like that.
That's right. Tom Sneva, the leader in the race again. Chris Economaki has a conjecture for us. He's down by the pole.
The track record for 500 miles in Indianapolis is just over 162 miles an hour, set 10 years ago by the late Mark Donohue. They've never been able to beat that record, but with the age of 200-mile-an-hour machines, the record right now of the race is 161 miles an hour. And if there are no more yellow flags, we should have a record-breaking 500-mile race average. Back to you, Jim.
By the way, you drove in that record-setting race, Sam, as I recall.
Yes, I did.
Excuse me, yellow out now.
Yep.
That's Phil Whittington. He just drove down into the infield, but it's a toe-in, so the yellow's out. Let's go to Jim Lampley again.
Johnny Parsons, I know this is a great disappointment for you. What happened?
Just got in a little hot, a little low, passing Mario, and got away from me, spun in front of him. Mario had no place to go. Real disappointed about it.
Now, you say it got away from you. I think it takes a courageous man to admit here when something is his own fault. Are you saying it was your fault?
There's drivers there. I've been here 10 years now, and it's the first time that I have experienced the drivers there at this track. I'm really not sure I'm coping with it properly, but I'm really disappointed. Sorry, apologies to a lot of people, and I hate that feeling.
A very honest statement by Parsons.
Yeah, and in his defense, he only just began driving that car a few days ago.
Right. Well, the pace car out. Let's take a break.
Indianapolis 500, I'm Jackie Stewart, and this is Race Central. There's a yellow flag right now because Bill Whittington stopped on the racetrack. He's merely being pulled in.